Most people don't know this, but I've actually been on YouTube for over 13 years now. I made my first video when I was 8. I had these paper trains that Go Transit was giving out and a Lego train track, and I just had this urge to do something with them. I spent days filming the video and then editing it together with my dad on some crappy software he had on his computer. I had no idea what I was doing, but I loved every second of it. And let me tell you, people did not like it. I guess there were a lot of other kids out there that also wanted a Lego Go Train set, because when they clicked on a video titled Lego Go Train and it turned out to be some other kid screaming about a milkshake while singing his own music, yeah, it's understandable. I got so many negative comments on that video, but they all just made me laugh. I was so proud. I showed it to all my friends, family. I made something, and it was my own. It's been over 13 years since I made that video, and though the comments on it are long gone now, disabled after YouTube was made to comply with the COPPA Act in 2020, the video is still up. You can still find it, along with a handful of other short videos I made. I was proud of that video then, and I'm still proud of it now. I've always loved to create and share my ideas, though I'm not really sure why. Whether it's to entertain people, inspire someone, or even show off a little bit, something has always drawn me to that process of realizing an idea. Maybe that's why I went into engineering. But back then, as a kid, YouTube and making videos in general was one of the only ways I knew how to act on that urge with. I made dozens of videos, most of them now privated on a channel I won't name, everything from Minecraft Let's Plays to uploading the soundtrack of a game I liked. But throughout all those videos and all these years, there's one thing that stayed true. I made videos about things that I enjoyed. I found City Skylines in 2015, just after tunnels were added to the game. I actually discovered the game through Corrales, the series he did. Something got me hooked on those videos, but I still remember the exact moment that compelled me to say fuck it and actually buy the game. Oh! The trams. Not actual trams, which weren't in the game yet, but pretend trams that were really trains. And when I went into the workshop and realized there were Tatra trams, the same trams I rode in Kiev with my grandma during the summers I spent there, that was it. It was just this rush of dopamine seeing this almost toy-like digital version of the tram that I could put into my own city. That was when I knew I had to get the game. And once I did get the game, I had no idea what to do. I was so bad at it and I didn't get it at all. I wish I'd saved my first city. I can still remember it so clearly. It was pretty bad. And the way I learned was just by watching YouTubers make their cities and copying exactly what they were doing. I don't even remember who I copied anymore, but eventually that gave me enough knowledge to start experimenting on my own. I jumped into making videos pretty soon, admittedly probably too soon.
I love these like 8-kilometer roads with no intersections, so like if you live in the middle of it, you have to walk. This is the city that like your grandparents lived in, and they're like every day had to walk 8 kilometers to school.
I didn't really have any idea what I was doing. Not that you could tell behind the 2000% video speed. If you held me at gunpoint and asked me why I started making videos on City Skylines specifically of all things, I'd say, didn't you watch the rest of the video? I make videos about things that I enjoy, and I enjoyed City Skylines a lot. That first speed build series didn't last very long. It kind of got to a point where I just didn't like the direction the city was heading. I started to realize some of the mistakes I was making, but I was too far in now to go back and fix them. Instead, I moved to making tutorials. I did one on farms, rail yards, road layout. Sorry, I just had deja vu. It's really funny looking back on these because I was just straight up making shit up as I went along. Try something new. Literally, what the fuck am I doing here? I was learning new tricks and coming up with new ideas, and I was just really eager to share. And believe me, I really did put a ton of effort into these. These videos are old enough that tools like Move It didn't exist yet. Not even the Propline tool was out yet. Every single one of those train cars I put down by hand, and each of these trees too. I wasn't just teaching others with these videos, I was teaching myself. And once those were done, I moved on to the next chapter of my channel. Edinburgh was the first real city I worked on. And also the first time that I started doing voiceovers. Listen to him. So young, so naive. If only he knew. I put a lot more effort into detailing my builds with Edbrook. And keep in mind, I was doing all this on a shitty little Dell Inspiron laptop that definitely was not built to run City Skylines, let alone a modded playthrough like this. That was a big reason why this series only lasted 5 episodes. It would unironically take me an hour and a half to load in, and I just ran into so many problems that in the end, I burnt out. But still, this series did a lot for me. I made some friends and met a lot of people, and I also started to include things that are important to me in some way, like Toronto's Union Station and some Go Transit themed KISS trains, because at the time those were the only Go trains that were available on the workshop. And this became a common theme throughout my videos from this point on. Grunstadt was a random island inexplicably set in Canada because I'm Canadian and wanted to show that. It ran Go trains and buses because I grew up in Toronto. It ran Ukrainian metro trains because I'm Ukrainian and I take huge pride in that. I built a spaceport because I study aerospace engineering and love rockets. I love City Skylines because it gave me such a unique way to express myself. You wouldn't think a city sim could really do that for you, but to me, it gave me that outlet. I could include parts of who I am and things that are important to me all in one place. And it's not just me. I think that if you look at anyone's city, you can see a little bit about who they are. Everyone has a unique building style, almost like a fingerprint, where they lay out their streets, zone their buildings. Do they detail? How do they detail? What do they detail? Where do they detail? Do they put water pipes neatly under the roads, or do they just cover the area they need in whatever way works? And I don't know, I just really like that aspect of the game. It was what drew me in with those Tatra trams and what made me want to keep playing. And in the end, we really owe that to the people, to the community that made these mods and assets and made the game what it is. Modded City Skylines and vanilla City Skylines are literally different games, and it's the love and work of the community that made that possible. The same community that supported me under every video and encouraged me to keep going, that liked what I built and actually found it interesting. And for that, I'll always be grateful. Do you guys like my lighting setup? It's my monitor as a light. Isn't that so cool? God, I haven't done one of these in so long. I think the last time I was on camera was in the fucking suburbs video. Hold on. Jesus Christ. Oh God. So we've talked about why I like City Skylines, but then there's the other half of this video, which is why I stopped playing. And for that, I kind of wanted a more candid sort of scenario. So originally this was supposed to be a 10,000 subscriber video, but obviously I never got around to it. And it's kind of a similar story with a lot of the things I tend to work on. I don't know, I loved working on Grunstadt. And at first I told myself, I just don't have time and I'll get around to it eventually. But the more and more I said that, the sort of further away it got, and I never really ended up getting around to making more videos. Because the thing is, I still wanted to work on it. Like I spent a lot of time already on it to begin with, and I liked what I was creating. But the truth is, if I wanted to work on it, I would have found the time. And it took me a really long time to realize that. Because that's just how I work. If there is something that I want to do, I'll find the time to do it. And with Grunstadt, I just burnt out, I guess. There's no secret, story or anything. I just burnt out. That's all it was. I'd load up the game and then I just sort of fly around sporadically for like 2 hours, place 3 props and then leave. And, nothing got done. That was a big problem I had. And I didn't really realize why that was happening. And I tried so many different things to, be more efficient at what I'm doing, but it never really succeeded, I guess. I just got tired of the game. I've been playing for like 7 or 8 years now, which is crazy to think about. And I didn't even realize that until I started going back through all my old videos. I'd been playing City Skylines for 8 years. And it's kind of a miracle that I even was interested in the game for that long to begin with. There was a lot of factors, I think, that went into why I burnt out. So first of all, there were the loading times, which I feel like people don't talk about as much as they probably should. On my old laptop, the one that I recorded Edbrook on, it took at least an hour and a half to load into the city. And thankfully on this computer with Grunstadt, which had way more mods and assets, it only took about half an hour. And in comparison, that's pretty good, right? Half an hour versus an hour and a half. That's an hour cut down from it. But that's still, half an hour is still crazy for a game. Think of how long it takes to open a Minecraft world. Nowadays it can take 30 seconds if you're on a lower end computer, but still, like I've never heard of another game where it takes this long to load into it. And it wasn't just the loading times either. I mean, every single time I tried to load into Grunstadt, there would be some sort of problem. There would be an asset missing, or a car that was removed from the workshop. So now the vehicle is gone from the save and the entire city is broken. In the later episodes, in the last few episodes of Grunstadt, there was at least 3 days of troubleshooting before, I could start officially working on the city, because there would be longer and longer gaps between, each video I'd make. And so mods would change, mods would break, the game would get updated. And it just became a complete shit show. And that really, when it takes so much work to play a game, it kind of demotivates you from playing it in the first place. Jesus Christ. No! Fuck. I knew it was a bad idea. God damn it. Not my Razer Chroma extended mouse pad. I knew this would happen too. Like, I was like, oh, it'll be a nice thing if I have something to drink. God, this is such a fucking nightmare. I have just today to record this video too. Like, I literally have no other time. And not only that, so it's raining, of course, and I have this fucking acne outbreak. Oh my God. Burnout was definitely a big one, but that's not to say time wasn't a factor either. Because very often I just literally didn't have the time. I'm a full-time student. Right now I'm doing a year of co-op. So that's why, we've had so many more videos lately, because I have more time. But when I am studying for my degree, it takes up a lot of time. And at the end of the day, when I'm done with all that, I'm just mentally exhausted, and I didn't want to work on another video. And even when I'm not studying, the last 2 summers, I had a full-time job in between school years. And it was pretty labor intensive. And by the time I got home from my shift, it's like, I don't want to make a video after that. And that was definitely a big one for me, is just not having that motivation or energy to make one. But even that aside, a lot of what I spend my time on nowadays is portal modding. So if you've seen my Portal RTX video, which by the way, you should totally check that one out, because I had a lot of fun making that video, and I think I'm probably going to be making more videos like that. I still think I'll be making City Skylines content, but I really enjoyed making that Portal RTX video, and I like that sort of essay form of content. But yeah, if you've seen that video, then you know that I do a lot of portal modding now, which is, it's kind of weird how I ended up in that community, because if you've seen my channel before that video, it would have seemed like I only play City Skylines. But yeah, I work on a bunch of different projects in the Portal community. There's my mod Abyss, then there's also Distillation that I'm a producer on, and also Catalyst. And I enjoy working on those projects, with a big team. In general, projects like that where you're given a clear goal and it's like, here's what you need to do this. I'm very good at that kind of thing. And that's one of the reasons why I really like working with Paradox so much and doing projects with them, because, they'd give me an instruction. Here's what you need to do. Here's how you do it. And here's when we need it by. And that's it. And I can sort of subconsciously fit myself into that time frame and get everything done. And it's very, cut and clear. So that I like doing stuff like that. And with my own videos, it's hard to do that because I'm going on my own schedule. I don't have a concrete deadline or anything like that. One of the big video ideas I had was I wanted to basically recreate a city in City Skylines, right? Not probably like everything exactly the same, but close enough, the roads and zone certain areas certain ways. And then what I would do is basically I'd go in and I'd look, identify the weaknesses, what are some improvements that can be made, mostly focus on the transit systems, classic distance stuff. That never came about because I realized how big of an undertaking that would be. And I have so little time already, I don't think I'd ever be able to do that. And eventually that video morphed into a non-City Skylines video about the transit system in Ottawa. And so I got started on this ahead of time. I really wanted to go all in. I recorded about 500 bus trips with all sorts of data, the route name, the stop name, the delay time or how early it is. And the video sort of fizzled out because of my own due diligence, because by the end of the year when I had all those trips recorded, the delay time on pretty much every route averaged out to about 5 minutes or less. So there wasn't much left I could talk about, because my whole point with that video was that the delay times, are way too bad and it's unreliable. And, it's still not the most reliable, but on average, the delay times aren't that bad. So that video ended up sort of not happening. I do still think I might make it someday because there are still other things for me to talk about. But, this isn't the video to talk about that. But, we'll see. Maybe one day. And then City Skylines 2 came out. So I've been doing a bunch of videos on that and, working with Paradox again. And it's been great. I've enjoyed City Skylines 2 so far. I think if you've seen my videos, you know that. I don't know. The last 2 videos didn't do that good for some reason. So a little bit demotivated on that. But I do still want to keep making it. And I'm not saying that, like I said, it with Grunstadt. I do still feel I will be making videos like that. Or at least in between bigger videos. So like I said, the Portal RTX video took a really long time because there was a lot of research and a lot of work I had to do beforehand. Even just the editing alone took like magnitudes longer than it does for my City Skylines videos. So, and of course, thank you to all of you. I never got to say it in its own video, but 10,000 subscribers is it's insane. Like I said, I've been making videos for over 13 years now, and to finally reach this milestone, I don't even know what to say. I mean, it's great, and I really appreciate that so many of you enjoy my videos enough that you're willing to subscribe and keep an eye out. So yeah, thanks so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.